No, 5 more minutes on to Sophia. Taking a deep breath through my snout, I rise from my naturally stiff bed, my back crying out in protest of these outrageous conditions. Blearily, I start to blink my eyes a few times and then try to rub the tired out of them, only to freeze like a statue. Oh, I'm surrounded by an unfamiliar room. Darkened tiles and plating running along the floor and the ceiling. Actually, it's way more concrete than anything. Although I think by this point they would be entering into the little metal, because I've replayed it a little. Listen, I said I would, and so I did. By the way, I appreciate that we're getting occasional title cards. They're very cute. They're very cute. Honestly, could you just? No, I know it's Half-Life. Just Half-Life 2 have the little chapter title cards. I don't know. Surrounded by an unfamiliar room, darkened tiles and plating running along the floor and ceiling. The lights above flicker and spark. Everything does that nowadays. It's just the trend of the times, buddy. Hope the audio sounds alright. I've turned off my usual filters. I'm going to turn them back on, and when we get to this video, you can tell me whether this works or not. Slight problem is that I'm pretty sure that music I listen to bleeds through. But that's really mostly a concern if I'm on Discord and you're not supposed to hear that. Oh shit, you might have actually heard some stuff though. Huh. Lights will flicker and spark, hanging halfway out by just the electrical wires. Fun fact, I've never had this issue of my mic picking up stuff when I had my old cool headset that was super cool. Rather hauntingly in the corner lies the unmoving form. It's one of those things. I gasp, feel my pulse begin to skyrocket as my breathing comes in ragged breaths. My hands desperately go to either side of my head, cradling it as I feel the whole room begin to spin. I'm still here. It was all real. I'm still here. I'm still here. My attention snaps towards the direction of the noise. Standing not too far from me is a blessedly familiar figure, basking in a sea of orange and grey. Gordon! I hoarsely whisper out. Never been relieved in my life to see a human. Even your boyfriend? Come on! I'm sorry. I guess no one's really relieved to see Inko. It's more like, yeah, I guess he's here now. He lifts his glass hand gently, raising and lowering them. An empathetic look across his bespectacled face as he draws closer while gesturing. As he draws closer, I feel an oncoming panic attack start to roll back slightly. Doesn't go away. Of course it wouldn't. I'm still stuck here after all. The bench groans in protest as Gordon drops onto it. The sheer weight of the HEV... Who told you that's an HEV suit? When did you internalize that knowledge? Wayne gets around. I'm not saying that someone didn't tell her. I'm saying that, Olivia feels like the kind of person who, up until this point, should have not been registering information in that much detail, considering how much of a side note that is. The bits of his knee joints whine as he relaxes, his posture slumping forward. Man, this guy's got some bad knees. He rests his elbows on his knees, letting his hands dangle, looking less like my survivor, more like a guy who just wants a coffee break that isn't going to happen. A small pang strikes in my core at the scene. It's hard to remember that it's not only me who's stuck here, it's the both of us. Well, there's other people, some of whom have died and others who are probably still alive. Eventually, he shakes his hand and raises it to look me over for a second. He points both of his fingers at me and then gives a thumbs up with a pair of mixed eyebrows. Something along the lines of, "Are you okay, Emmy?" Yeah. I quickly respond, deciding this was a good time as ever to look over myself. The distant memory screams out in my mind. Lord knows I've been through a lot. Man, I do appreciate that. One thing I really like about this is that it's such a nice change of genre. I get to do spooky voices and little sound effects. It's so great. It's like a little treat that can't be beat. Checking over myself, I see pretty much okay. I seem pretty much okay, other than a few scrapes and the odd small cut. I feel like I should just paraphrase this guy more than I should read it out loud, because, man, this is what was that one work that everyone shared around Ragan? I want to say Ragnar the Barbarian, whatever. My hands give my body one less pat down before I look towards Human with a small nod. I mean, to be fair, you had your knee cut open. Did he treat that? Have you sterilized that at all? So, now what? I mean, where do we go? Oh, she remember. I feel like if you're going to say something like this and you're in a new chapter, you should probably remind the audience that, yes, the tram system doesn't work, so you can't go through the obvious intended path. Gordon briefly scrunches his face, the gentle lines of wrinkles creasing as the human briefly slips into thought. I appreciate that Gordon's Thinko is way more powerful than Inko ever could be. This man actually thinks Before I can get a chance to ask or propose anything, the human points upwards. Same gesture as earlier. Well, that's it. Just keep trying to find a way up. He nods, not entirely making me feel on board with the idea. If I recall correctly, shortly after this, are they going to go like underwater and they're going to meet a Vortigons and they're going to see like the sonic boom dogs and everything? There's a lot that happens like right after the main entry room. But it doesn't seem like help is going to be coming down, and at any rate soon. Oh, they're going to see the guy sitting behind the TV. All right, fine. Let's just get this over with. Giving another nod, the human rises to his feet and gets himself into a position that's easy for me to slip into this weird harness thing on his back. However, as Gordon is shuffling around, I notice something wrapped around his wrist. A black leather utility belt struts around the suit, dotted with a small number of pouches and holsters. Not to mention the large black hat gun jutting from its holster. Oh, hell yeah! I was asking about this earlier. Like, how are they going to handle the fact that Gordon's slowly but surely arming himself? And it's like, yeah, of course he would take, like, the obvious belt designed to hold a handgun. That's so cute. Because in the game, they're like, oh, by the way, your HEV suit has, like, self-defense protocols. Like, what are you talking about? Why does it have that? I think Black Mesa does a way better job at, like, elaborating that, yes, the HEV suit has that because it's actually been used to go into Zen, and they've been shooting things in there. And that's not mentioning the large black hat gun jutting from its shoulder. I blink in surprise, staring at the firearm as if it was a third arm of the human. Where'd he get that? I don't remember seeing him pick up the guard from before. You literally fell asleep! Unless he... You fell asleep, Olivia! How would you know what happened while you were taking a big old nap time? My eyes drift towards the corner of the room. There, still unmoving, is the body of the security guard. Now the adrenaline is worn off, the sight is wrong. His skin is taken on a waxy gray cast, looking more plastic than flesh. His eyes are half open, staring fixedly by the stain on the floor with a cloudy, dull-like emptiness that makes my stomach churn. At his waist, the fabric of his pants is bunched up awkwardly, where the belt was yanked away, exposing Gordon! Gordon, if you're going to loot a corpse, could you at least leave him in some form of dignity? Did Gordon loot a corpse? It feels like a violation. I appreciate that Olivia has, like, really high standards considering the situation she's in. You know, the world is slowly ending and the whole facility around me is falling to pieces. But Gordon, you can't just loot a corpse. It feels like a violation. Seeing him stripped of his gear. It's just a belt, man. Making him less like a guy and more like just meat. An object. Suddenly, the human squats in front of me, waiting for me to climb on into the harness. For the briefest of seconds, I hesitate, something in me twisting at the idea of Gordon yanking the stuffed guard from me. You literally already mentioned that. Like, I don't know why you feel the need to repeat that when you already did a better job at it. Then again, what if you didn't? We'd be out without someone with a gun. Wait, does he even know how to use a gun? The guy must have noticed my hesitation, craning his head back with a curious look. Blinking, I mutter a soft apology and painstakingly slide myself into the harness. Its rubber-wrapped cabling digs into my body as my weight settles onto it. You can't just literally ask Gordon if he knows how to use a gun, Olivia. You have a voice, unlike him. I feel like for someone who should, at this point, realize that at least you have the capacity, you could just ask, and Gordon could just nod. Like, nodding and shaking one's head are things you clearly know how to do. Like, you have very limited two-way communication. But it exists. God, I hate this thing. I complain, feeling only more revolted by its existence as my brain likened some weird sexual harness is also in the lizard lounge. Olivia, I assure you, the sexual harness on the lizard lounge is more comfortable than this and probably costs less considering this is expensive cabling in an underground facility. Wait, why'd you go there, Brain? I'm literally fighting for my life in there. You go there? I don't even like this human. He's not dopey enough for me. While I'm having my internal one-sided shouting match, Gordon rises up and turns his gaze towards the unmoving guard. Blinks with a split second. Something I must have missed when I wasn't paying attention. To my surprise, he pulls the black plastic pistol. God, what a shit term to say. The black plastic pistol from the holster. Gordon weighs the pistol in his hand. The heavy black metal-looking alien... Heavy black metal. You just said it was plastic. Looking alien against his bright orange glove. He pulls back the slide to check the chamber. The clumsy learn motion, not the smooth action of a soldier. So he at least knows how to use it. I like that she says it's a learn motion, but it's not smooth. That's such a good line. That's such a good line. I feel like a better way to say this, it's a clumsy but learned, or yet learned motion. Not the smooth one of a soldier. Like, I feel like this is a very small set of edits, just to give it a little cadence, and it would be great. Just great. Like, it communicates so much with so little. It's also kind of weird that Olivia would know that. I feel like she could probably tell that someone is, like, clumsy and being, like, fiddling around. Could she tell someone who's just looking at a gun from a guy who knows what he's doing with a gun? Like, her dad was in the army, yeah, but we never established that much. And also, we're not bringing that up here at all. Even though it feels like this is, like, the most relevant time to bring up her father's affiliation with, like, the major military organization. I looked at the gun with a thin grimace, then back at the dead guard. His shoulders rising and falling in a heavy, pressurized sigh. Yeah, he knew Jenkins. I remember Jenkins. Do you remember his name? He holsters the gun with a sharp shove, almost as if he wants to touch it as little as possible before rubbing his face with both hands. Dude, your hands are probably covered in smooch. any like resonance cascade. So my eyes linger on the human, curious and empathetic of his mood. Early reservations being smashed by the display of emotion. Guy's in the same boat of me. No doubt he's just as worried as I am. He probably spent that whole nap trying to process the fact that you or someone, or maybe him, I don't know, you, Olivia, just murdered his friend who turned into a zombino. I turn back, passing my silent look backwards. This time, I think of the other security guard, the one that protected us up until this point. The one who probably died because of me. Oh, it's a different guy. I thought it was the same guy. This is what you get with unclarity. I guess they're different people then. That makes sense, considering the transformation can't be that fast if he's all waxy. Oh, unless that's like the wax of death. A shiver runs down my spine into a pretty large open space. Rows of scientific machinery engaged run along the wall in front of us in a sprawl of machinery and metal. This place is undeniably different from where we just came from. It's undeniably different from where we just came from. Instead of solid concrete tiling, textured panels run along the floors as far as the eye can see. Even the walls are ridged panels instead of solid rock. The odd bits of graded flooring, barrels, and other sciencey-looking stuff are spread around the room, filling it to the brim, while somehow feeling open. It's almost like a video game space. Weird space, I mutter, letting my gaze wander around the room, like it is a snarl nod from my chauffeur. You have any idea what they did here? His head only shakes, raising up in a so-so gesture. I hum, going back to looking around, pretending like a clear understanding will come to me. I do appreciate that he is a theoretical scientist and but a research associate. Don't even think that this man knows everything. Ah, something's got me! Both of us freeze as we hear panicked cries of someone from the hall to our right. Shouldn't you already have met the dog by this? I don't even know, man. I just played it, and it's a bit of a schmudgy area. Quickly, Gordon pivots on his heels, running straight towards the source. Not that I agree to going that way. Hey, stop! Don't run towards everything that's problems, man! My protests are cut off as we round a corner. An older-looking scientist stands precariously balanced on top of a ladder, though the younger one juts halfway out of a large event. A panicked look on his face as he grips the other man's arms for his life. Get it off of me! Get it off of me! The younger human screams. Before the committee of Live or Let Live can convene and do a vote, Gordon runs forward, throwing my entire body around in the harness like a cheap amusement park ride. And the problem is we're already too late. Also, in the video game, you can't actually do anything about this. And I remember that there's a guy who wanted to do like a minimum death runs, and he was really pissed about some of these things. Also, you never hear the people in the elevator say anything. I appreciate the authors willing to take some liberties to like flesh out things a little bit, you know, not just for Olivia's sake, but just in general to give the environment a little bit more texture. Because remember that Half-Life is like over 2 decades old, approaching 3, and as a result, has to make severe concessions on what it couldn't do. With an air-bracing screen, both men are dragged further up and inside the vent, just as the person that was on the ladder looks like he was about to be. He too would be sucked in. His grip gives, sending him falling. Tumbling through the air with a panicked cry, his back smacks heartily against the very ladder he was using. The sickening splash falls face first, early impact sending the ladder tumbling down onto the ground, straight into the back of his head. With a bloody splatter and a metallic crunch, the ladder falls squares onto the back of the man's skull, stopping all movement. I feel like you're doubling down too much here, buddy. We have too much time to process the horrifying details of the blood-curdling stream of agony, and tearing apart of something wet and heavy echoes out of the vent. It's like a wet towel being ripped in half over and over again. Fun fact, this process repeats like 3 times. It's really weird how long this takes. Soon enough, the screams are silenced by the most horrifying wet crunch possible. A severed head slid across the floor, stopping inches from Gordon's boot. Why is he standing like that? The vent is perpendicular to the hallway you come in through. So that's better displayed to the audience. It's followed by a thick, streaming robe of intestines that unspools into the grating like dropped sausages. Dude, how the fuck would you know what intestines look like? I mean, I guess, you probably did biology class, but I feel like if I saw intestines, I would sooner go for like, oh, those are sausages, and then I would realize they're intestines. Although I guess Olivia, by this point, has seen several people gut it, so hey. Finally, a jawbone cleanly ripped from the skull. His teeth still pearly white. Man, this guy brushed right before he died? Bouncing off the dead scientist's back. The metallic tang of fresh, hot copper instantly floods the air, overpowering the smell of ozone. When did we smell ozone? I can't even be sick. I'm so frozen by the realization that these pieces were just a person a second ago. This isn't a fountain of mutilated parts. It's a butcher shop. Thank you, ChatGPT. Both of us silently gawk at the scene. The carnage greater than anything either of us had seen so far. What kind of grr is this? Is this the dog? It's only when a deep, or I think the vent makes the growl, right? It's only when a deep rumbling growl echoes from the vents that either of us snap back to our senses. The first time since I met the guy, Gordon looks absolutely terrified. Go! I shakily whimper, wrapping my hands around his neck. Go, Raptor Jesus, just run! Excuse me, my name is Gordon Freeman, not Raptor Jesus. Without much argument, the remaining human pivots on his heel and quickly hurries in the opposite direction, with a constant looking back as we cross the foyer. We never know when a giant monster may jump you in these halls. Thump. In his hurry to put as much distance between us and whatever fleshy beast lay behind us, where an accident bumps in one of the many barrels that littered the space as he rounds a corner. It falls onto its side with a hollow metallic clang and rolls over and down a narrow corridor, slanted downwards. Thwimp. Okay, we're gonna get cat. Oh, we're no, you. No. You don't meet these guys before you meet the little sound dogs. I mean, I guess it's a better way to introduce the concept of alien growths compared to starting off with the fucking dogs. But hey, I don't know, man. Hold on, I need to do something real fast. Sorry. I need not just play a whole bunch of stuff, but yes, I'm pretty sure you meet the barnacles. The funny part is you meet the barnacles before you actually meet the barnacles, because there's a little section in an office complex where apparently they introduce this thing, but before then you do have the little overhang thing. It's really weird. But I don't think you've met him by this point. Anyway. It's hollow, but it's okay. Yeah, basically he's doing I think Half-Life 2 introduces them like this, where you have like barrels you throw into them. An elastic suction cup-like noise echoes out as a long green rope-like tongue latches onto the barrel. How the fuck would you know it's a tongue in that context? Why won't you just assume it's an ordinary tendril? It's coated in a slick, translucent mucus that glistens in the flickering light, dripping down in long, ropey strands like infected saliva. Why would it be infected? Why are you so judgmental about this man's fucking tongue? My eyes are slowly raising to the ceiling. Oh, we need to put on a song, because I think this is like cavern ambience that it starts playing. Spreading far and wide across... My eyes slowly raise to the ceiling. Spreading far and wide across the ceiling, several brown, fleshy lumps hang, interweaving between metal pipes. Long, green, rope-like things hanging from their mouths, gently swaying near the floor. Maybe it's hard mode? Feels weird, though. Maybe I missed them? Maybe I'm just blind like that. The real scary bits come in several rows of sharp teeth and fangs as they stab downward into the air, dangerous to anything near them. Speaking of being near them, one weird ceiling word that just grabbed that barrel, jerks it up little by little with its green tongue. As it draws closer, a second smaller mouth-like blob with even more teeth pops out, almost like that one disgusting alien move where the monster got a second smaller mouth. The barrel reaches the top, and the horror show really starts. The fleshy sphincter on the ceiling expands. Why would Olivia ever use a word like sphincter? Ceiling expands, revealing rows of needle-like teeth that act more like a meat grinder than a mouth. As it pulls the barrel in, I could actually hear the metal screaming. The muscle around the creature's mouth turns strained, pale white as it constricts. Not just knuckles these days. The metal barrel buckles inward like a soda can. Well, they're not really made for external pressure like that. That's what gas cylinders are generally for. Actually, why would you ever want to carry something that's rarefied like that? It's weird. The creature's digestive acids instantly hissing and bubbling against the paint. It pulses rhythmically, trying to swallow clearly something too big, drooling yellow bile. It all seems just gross. Why would you be scared of this? It clearly eats barrels. I groan. I wanted to look away, but found myself stuck staring. That happens a lot to you, Olivia. I want to get a course on that. My stomach flip-flops as a lump on the ceiling. Man, your guts, you should be glad you didn't eat yet. Flip-flops as the lump on the ceiling groans and slobbers all over the barrel floor. The way it morphs and pulses, mixed with a sickening array of squelching noises, emphasizes almost every possible feeling of dislike. With an oddly frustrated moan, the wart spits out the barrel with such violence that it dents the other side with a resounding bang. Despite not being a major plant nerd, my brain links us up with those plants that trap their prey and eat them. Flytraps, I think they're called. So, maybe those weird flytrap things? Gordon drops his hand and gives a vague, non-committal wobble of his hand. Maybe, who knows? I guess he doesn't know what this is either. His answer, like the many before it, dig at my slowly rebounding frustrations. You and a bunch of people don't know a lot about what's actually been here before. My snarky response casts a human's unapproving gaze. Its expression is utterly flat behind the smudged glasses. Man, dude, clean those up. A look of pure, unadulterated disapproval. He stares at me for a long, silent beat, his green eyes unblinking. There's a silent yet powerful look in the man's eyes, almost like he would challenge my comment with his own words if he could. I decide to clam up, shrinking slightly in the harness, but Keeping a firm expression unintentionally having hit a nerve. It's not like I'm going to apologize, though. Oh, that's great. With a heavy sigh, he reaches up and pushes his glasses back up the bridge of his nose with a gloved forefinger. It's a deliberate, weary motion that he's physically trying to adjust his patience level along with his eyewear. What the hell? What's this? Oh. Whoa. A familiar chirping noise puts us both of our attentions into a headlock. What a weird way to put it. Forcing both of us to look down. Down the hallway of green tongues. Rounding the corner at the opposite end of the hall is another one of those deadly crap monster things. Probably scheming plans on how it would latch onto Gordon or Maya's head. Gordon adjusts the grip of his crowbar. Wouldn't it be neat if like the bull squids, I think, because Olivia looks like a bull squid a little bit, they're afraid of her. I don't know, there's some fun stuff you might be able to do with that. Gordon adjusts the grip on his crowbar, preparing to turn the weird little turd into paste. Even with the human trying to protect me, are we going to do the Akira elevator? Even with the human trying to protect me, it's impossible not to feel the danger of even something as small as it. I've seen what it can do to people. Be careful, I whisper, for my own sake more than Gordon's as I shrink behind his back. I'm impressed how much maneuverability you have, considering how fat you are, Olivia. You're not exactly good backpack material. Have you seen the shit Kazooie pulls off back there? Just like the first one. Like the first time we saw one, this little creature notices us and rears onto its hind legs with a tiny roar. It leaps high into the air, its taloned and teeth poised out to thwip. As the crab soared through the air, one of its legs got stuck into one of the green tongues hanging from the ceiling. Like the barrel earlier, the wart on the ceiling begins to jerkily janking its prey up. The entire time the crab fails and screams with its meager voice. This time his secondary mouth finds something that better suits its appetite. Its razor-sharp fangs dive into the crab with such force that it's dead in an instant. All the remaining half of the crab struggles coming to an end in a brutal instant. Yeah, basically like a fly trap. I struggle to tear my arrows away. The overture of brutality, and one more tick to things I wish I'd never seen. You keep looking at them though, and you keep like staring. It's like you're like you've always watched horror movies, and now you're like, man, shit's so much cooler in real life. In a 3-foot wide concrete corridor, the sudden sounds of gunshots are like physical blows. The overpressure slams against the nerve. How the fuck would you know that? And rebounds instantly, hitting me like a hammer on the side of the head. You've mentioned this before. My hand shoots the side of the scream out, only I can't scream. The whole world goes mute. The sharp, percussive cracks are replaced by an instant piercing, high-frequency whine that drills into the center of my skull. I shake my head, trying to clear the pressure. Yet the ring is absolute, drowning out my own ragged breathing. What the hell's wrong with you? I shout. Struggling to even hear my own words, I repeatedly slap the back of the human's. Why is it that all you humans do is shoot anything that moves? That probably didn't even work. Gordon attempts a meager defense for my swats, but doesn't build up much of a fight. Soon enough, my frustration at the man turns to me, trying to return. Jesus, what's left of my hearing? I mup it as I stick a finger in my ear, trying something the security guard mentioned in passing while I was alive. Ever so slowly, the horde ringing starts to fade. What the hell did you do? It's enough for me to hear the wet squelches from the ceiling. The ceiling trap convulses, its fleshy maw exploding in a shower of yellow gore and teeth. The tongue goes limp and retracts with a wet slap, dropping the rain of viscous brown and green fluid onto the floor. Oh, they vomit up when you kill them, right? Whatever, if they've eaten something at least. And in 2, they do that especially often. It feels like they do it all over the place. Whereas in the first, I think they're a little bit more reserved with how much they've eaten. But I guess that makes sense, because in 2 they kind of teleported in. In 1 they teleported in, and in 2 they've just been there. Just for the record, you're an idiot. A smug grin flashed in the human's face. In a blink and you'll miss it kind of situation. Look, can you just try not shooting them right now? I actually may go deaf if you do. Get this girl some headphones. Or some noise cancelers. I can't believe you're autistic, Olivia. Who would have known? Gordon freezes as his head tilts slightly to the side. He adjusts his glasses before narrowing his eyes at the ceiling. He raises a hand, tracing an invisible line in the air from the barrel to the barnacle's tongue. How the fuck would you know it's called a barnacle? I mean, I know it looks like a barnacle, but Olivia, you're not the kind of person to know what a barnacle looks like. Mouthing silent variables. Just like a professor at a chalkboard, and the classroom was a hallway of death. Oh, shut up! That line's miserable. He gives a sharp, decisive nod, the calculation complete. Like, this is not something Olivia should be saying. Also, you've never met a professor. You've only met, like, high school teachers. Like, why couldn't you just say it's like a Yatacon, you know? It's like whenever a Yatacon has this big idea, Because that's like the one person you pay attention to. I feel like there's ways to do this that doesn't sound this generic. Because, like, you're in high school. You should have direct examples for this. Or maybe it's like when Coach Solly takes aim. You know? Reference your past fucking life as a human being. I know it's hard to make up names, but you have like a whole cast of characters you can draw on to give Olivia things to compare to. My eyes track his as they flick between the discarded and dented barrel from earlier and one of the many remaining wall traps in the ceiling. I scratch my head for a few seconds before an idea starts to slowly piece together. I think I see where you're going with this. So to confirm my idea, Gordon kicks the barrel down the sloped hallway into the next ceiling trap. Like its earlier sibling, Anita latches onto the barrel, so jacking it up. Our way is clear. Go! Gordon quickly sprints under the thing. Also, I was wrong. In the first game, you do in fact have a limited flashlight, but it just lasts for fucking ever, and it's kind of weird and busted. Like, it's just this little dinky spark, this little glow light that you scatter into in a raycast, and it like locks onto NPCs for some reason, which makes sense because it makes it really easy to see what you're looking at and aim. But it also kind of ruins the fun of light sources for me. Bursting down the hallway, I wrap my tail around his torso, trying to be mindful not to get caught. I mean, I know why it does that. It does that because, like, oh, it's intercepting the light source, but it does it in a very crude way. So it's not like there's light being cast past them. It's just like there's a spotlight on them now. Mercifully, make it through the maze of tongues. Careful not to get caught in any of the remaining ones. Reach the opposite end of the hall. Also, technically, isn't it 4 bullets on medium? Which should be what you're basing this off of? Not to clear of any immediate dangers. Both of us pant and try to catch our breath. Maybe from the sheer terror of the ordeal and Gordon from actually putting in the work. Still, I worked really hard back there. Not like I didn't do anything on side of my ass. I mean, I helped. What did you do? Good. Whew. Good job, man. It doesn't take long for me to notice that Gordon... Not only had Gordon stopped moving, but had become shockingly quiet. Well, as quiet as a guy's mute can get. Hey, you okay? I mutter, gently shaking his shoulder. His head remains twisted to the side, gaze fixed upwards and unmoving. My eyes drift where his are, spotting something, or rather someone. Standing on an elevator walkway is a man, not a human of the facility full of them. But isn't a human like any others I've seen so far. Does he even show up at this moment? I mean, he might... Because you do get, like, a little... I must have missed him, though. I mean, to be fair, G-Man shot sightings are kind of like a fun Easter egg you can look for. More than something that the game expects you to always notice. I think in Half-Life 2, they do, like, kind of set him up a little more. Not only does his skin seem sickly pale, but he isn't wearing a hazard suit or lab coat. He's just in a sharp midnight blue business suit that looks expensive and out of place. His hand grips the battered briefcase in one hand as he looks down at Gordon. Wait, is the beginning intro just like Olivia getting debriefed after this is over and she's getting sent to Half-Life 2? Because that's fucking hilarious. That's a great setup. The expression isn't quite one of Gordon, but isn't the interest either. It's assessment. I mean, shouldn't you again compare this to like teachers you've seen it had in your life? At least, that's the case until his attention flicks to me. Like, I want to point out that I feel like Olivia's past life is getting a little bit left in the wayside sometimes. Like, she's just a girl in a situation out of a high school girl with a very specific kind of backdrop. I'm not saying you have to, but, you know, like, you can just let this stand on its own right. Be like, well, the reason she would know that is she's a high school kid. Like, there's no reason this knowledge is especially odd. For but the briefest of moments, his eyes widen and a thin frown deepens. He's like, what the fuck is that fat ass doing over here? His gaze stabs down towards me, sending chills down my spine and holding my eyes for a heartbeat. That's very short, by the way, a heartbeat. Usually like 60 at rest, which is like a second. Like a 60 a minute, yeah, that's like 1 second. Something about the way, although admittedly you're probably elevated, so you might be like half a second. Something about the way that he silently stares at us forces us to be quiet, despite every part of me wanting to call out to the man demanding to know who he is and what he's doing. Since when have you done that? You didn't do that to the security guard. You haven't done that to any of the other people you've come across. Do you know him? Without a word, he calmly reaches up, straightens his tie, and walks smoothly into a different part of the upper corridor, his bearing before he can gather up the courage to ask who he is. At least, it's his face. Who's that? My question is huffed out in a hushed whisper. Don't huff hushes. Seems enough to snap Gordon out of whatever trance he was in, with a shallow shake of his head. Fun fact, you see him like twice before you get to the area. I think you see him once on like the little rail cart system. And then later, you see him, where was it again? Inside one of the rooms, like talking to a scientist. And I think they close the blinds? But you do see him like in a weird way. It's like, how did he get here before me? His shoulders shrugged. Man probably is confused as that. Well, whatever. We're gonna have to find, some way out. Nodding, Gordon carefully starts down the larger room around the corner. Man, I'm so tired. I can't sleep with this heat. I can barely record. How the hell am I supposed to make it? The narrow hallway we came from doesn't give justice to the sheer scale of how vast the space is. We walk into a massive room, Two cylindrical tubes jet out in the middle of the room, both with white and red labels reading temperature control scrolling across their pipes. Pipes of all sizes run along the blue textured walls and ceiling. Wait, are you using Black Mesa for this? Are you using Black Mesa? Because I know Black Mesa does this fairly early on. Oh god fucking damn it, I'm not downloading Black Mesa for this. Downloading Black Mesa for this. I don't want to though. Yeah, but I think... But doesn't Black Mesa use, like, up-to-date computers, though? Like, my problem is that... First off, the lobby doesn't look right. But, like, if I recall correctly, Black Mesa does look a lot nicer, you know? Oh, it does use CRTs. Oh, that room is a lot darker. Yeah, I think they're using Black Mesa for this. Ew! Ew! The reason I say that is because this area doesn't have, like, any temperature stuff going on, but I think in Black Mesa they did do something that like that fairly early on instead of having, like, the freezer room later in the game. Like, I get it, there's a lot more to go off of description-wise, but ew! You're gross. You're gross and you should feel bad. That will be the only judgment I pass. Scrolling across their pipes, pipes of all colors and sizes along the walls, uprise against with the ceiling one slash engages an uncolored gray pipework stretches across the walls. Gordon carefully steps around a few tiles, exposed wiring with large black-yellow text warning of its danger. While we walk around, you haven't taken a step in your entire literal life. I find my gaze traveling, I guess during the prom, maybe. I find myself traveling to the stuff on the walls beside us. What the fuck? I find my gaze ugh. Fogged over glass gives a small glimpse of a snow-filled room, the powdery white mounds rising halfway up the glass. My confusion about why the hell a place like this would have a room like this quickly passed over to a large sign reading danger, temperature-controlled storage, raise temperature before entering. Above a thermometer that reads minus 96 Fahrenheit. That's that. Once you get to 0 Fahrenheit, like minus 35 Celsius, it doesn't matter. It's fucking cold. Seriously. Why the place need... Oh, wait, no. Is it negative 35? 0 Fahrenheit is negative 17. So what's 96? No, negative. Oh, shit, I can't. 71 Celsius. Ugh, you're getting close to Kelvin there, buddy. Seriously. Why do they need to place this gold? I'm pretty sure any human, let alone Saurian, would freeze after a few minutes in there. Buddy, they die in less than a minute, I'm pretty sure. Speaking of Saurians, after at least a decent while of time throughout the facility, the lack of any indication of others like me starting to bug me. They're literally... Oh, yeah, she already mentioned this. Because there aren't any around. I appreciate the guards nice and blunt about it. A small pit in my stomach drops as our brief argument flashes in my head. What do you mean there aren't any around? Why the hell was it thrown out by my phone? Actually, why the hell is everyone in this whole place just weird in general? Why do you have barnacles on your ceiling, buddy? As I stew in my thoughts, we round the corner to a pair of doors. One on the left is surrounded by red lights, a sign reading climate-controlled room. Judging by the looks of it, there's not a good chance either of us are getting in there. To the right, just a normal pair of doors. I hate Black Mesa's final boss. Black Mesa reminds me why I do not like FPS bosses. That boss is so fucking weird, man. Like, I get it. It looks really cool. But, man, do I not like it. I don't like the Zen section in general because it is so fucking long. And it just... The reason Zen is short, right, is because Zen is not interesting. The entire game is like this weird, esoteric exploration of a facility that's slowly decaying and, like, human factions. And I get it. You're trying to replicate that with the Vortigoths, but it just doesn't work as well. Especially since the Vortigoths don't do all that much. Also, I got confused several times. I think Black Mesa suffers from, like, your fidelity is really high, but your clarity is very low. That are broken, judging by this. There should be a comma there. Because this is a different sentence fragment. Judging by the sparks in the partially open state. If my mood about being stuck in a cold metal coffin isn't already bad enough, being presented with one more roadblock. Great, just perfect, I grumble, folding my arms on Gordon's back and leaning forwards. And I'm like, getting... Ah! Suddenly it feels as the whole world ripped out from under me, as everything goes lopsided. It's a harsh bang and jolt as everything comes to a jerking halt, the harness keeping me in place, but still throwing me around like a sack of laundry. The bottom of my legs bang into the metal tiling. The muted but still ever-present pain causes me to grip my teeth and hiss. And hiss. I blink a few times as I catch my breath, not aware that it's stolen from me. Watch out! Watch out where you're walking, you idiot! I snap, desperate to direct my emotions somewhere. pain groan slips from Gordon that immorality shuts down my... What? My eyes drift down and snap open. One of his legs has fallen to the open maintenance shaft, his knee thankfully catching the ledge and stopping us from tumbling into the hole. Still, no doubt, quite a harsh and painful fall. Dude, are you good? I mutter, getting a grimacing nod as Human carefully picks himself up and out of the hole. Doot, 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 doot. High speed. Impact. Detected. A quiet robot voice mutters out of nowhere. My head tries to track the noise, but ends with nothing. Where'd that come from? Gently rubbing his knee, Gordon slaps the base of his neck a few times. Wait, what is the suit? A nod confirms my question. In reality, only raising more. Doot, doot, doot. Low dosage. Pain suppressant. Administered. Almost immediately, Gordon's shoulders sag with a quiet sigh of relief. I stare, flicking my gaze into the human in the suit with a look that'd be a textbook definition of confusion. If you look at the definition, you'll find my face there. As much as I'd love to drill the guy on what else Thing can do, don't get her an HEV suit. She does not need opium or morphine. Trying to play charades is exactly the best idea until we're in the clear. Or at least as clear as we can get. Also, did that suit really just juice him up? Realizing that the obvious way isn't an option, we try searching the room for any openings. In reality, there was only one other door, and that's locked. The only serious ways are the door to the giant freezer, whatever, and the maintenance shaft. The problem with that last one is that there's no way both of us can fit in it. The narrow crawl space isn't exactly designed to fit a human in a fancy suit with a baryonyx on his back. Which leaves only one option, with only one realistic option. No, Raptor, Jesus heaven, no! Gordon forcefully points around the room, trying to paint an invisible picture for me. Sadly for him, it's not a picture I like. I'm not gonna sit here alone and wait to die. My hands pound the back of his shoulders. Find another way! Find something that doesn't involve you killing me! Now, usually I'd say that I'm pretty level most of the time. Inko can vouch for me on that. The game really doesn't give off that impression too much, really. Like, there are several stressful situations and you lose your shit. But when I'm told, or at least gestured to, that I have to stay back while Gordon belongs to the maintenance, and I'm not exactly thrilled about the idea. It's a good time to switch up POVs. And while the human doesn't speak much, he certainly has a wide range of gestures and facial emotions. That's because if he's been mute all his life, he has to deal with so many fucking people. Like, he's just developed a repertoire of things that he can reliably use, even with people who don't know ASL. A frustrated frown draws on his features as he forcefully stomps over to a small pile of crates in the corner of the room nearby one of the locked doors. In case you forgot, that's locked! You can't walk into some solid metal and... Thump. I'm heaved onto one of the nearby crates, the human throwing the straps over his head and taking a few steps forward. The whole thing crashes my brain like an old computer. The mere fact the guy's the goal to throw me off like that isn't not being comprehensible. At least for 2 seconds. What? I stutter. Getting my arms all tangled up with the loose cabling around my body. Hey! I yell at Gordon as he looks at me. Arm folded just a few feet away to deadpans. What are you doing? With a firm look on his face, he chaps a finger at me, then down at the floor. I stay here? What? My earlier outrage and frustration. Man, I have to say that while these chapters are technically shorter in terms of, like, vertical length, because this person actually uses fucking paragraphs, there's way more text per chapter, which I kind of like. I don't like it on the other hand, because also, I don't have experience. I don't know how long a chapter is if it's actually dense instead of, like, sentence, new line, sentence, new line, sentence, new line. Because this is way shorter than if you split this up into separate segments, right? Because all the new line text that sits in between is, like, gets spread out, and you don't overlap. Yeah. Okay. My early outbursts of frustration putter out when it's clear the guy is pretty dead set on leaving me alone while he ventures God knows somewhere. The increasingly familiar sense of desperation and fear begin to take over, overwhelming my senses. Gordon, you can't just leave me here! I beg, holding out my claws to him. Little grabby hands. How am I supposed to protect myself? When one of those things shows up and tries to kill me or worse? Green eyes stare at me through dirty lenses. Clean them already! Lines of the human's face twitching and jerking, as he's obviously think about my questions. His lips press into a firm yet shallow frown. His posture saying more than Aiden's voice ever could. I want to point out, why doesn't more happen? Right? Like, Gordon's POV feels like something we should go back to every once in a while instead of being this disjointed. A curt sigh slips out from the human's mouth as he slowly begins to walk back to me. Relief floods my veins like a dam bursting open for a second as I expect him to slip the harness back on and hoist me up. Cling! A metal thuds lands on the box next to me. My eyes drift down to the crowbar clearly laid out plain as day. I'm ready to look up, but by now the human is already making his way to the maintenance shaft. Hey! Stop! You know, the last time you left Olivia behind, she almost got killed, right? The human doesn't seem to acknowledge me as he climbs to the service shaft. You can't just leave me here! Says Green eyes, give me one last look. I silently plead with the man, hoping he'll change his mind. He simply nods his head and climbs down to the shaft, leaving me alone. In a place that's trying to kill or maim me 24/7. You've not even been here 24 days, or 7 days. How would you know? The crowbar is tightly pressed up against my chest before I can even blink. Okay, Olivia, don't panic. Don't panic! It's gonna be back in a few minutes. You'll hop on and find another way out. Nothing will go wrong. Nothing will go wrong. No monsters or other wilderness freaks will show up and tear you to little pieces. So fucked. The gentle hum of machinery and electricity fills the room. Nothing should be scary in the slightest. But it's the lack of sound, the lack of any sign of life that freaks me out. It's the fact that you don't know if there's something there. I pretty badly lost track of how long it's been since Gordon has vanished down his little rat hole. I like how he's called it his little rat hole. God, I still can't believe he just leave me here like that. Doesn't he know this place is crawling with death? I feel like he's as aware of it, if not more than you, since he has to actually deal with it. Why'd I have to go and piss off the only thing in this hell trying not to kill me? God damn it, Olivia, are you seriously this retarded? Better be nice to your ticket out of here. I think in Black Mesa you use yeah, you actually use the flares, right? Like you genuinely use them as a weapon. Because Black Mesa stuck up its own ass. God damn it, Olivia. Are you seriously this retarded? Gotta be nice to your ticket out of here. But no. You're stuck on top of a box waiting for that magical thing will come to see what magical thing will come to bash my skull in. Well, better hope it's not one of those Sonic Barky dogs. Because those guys suck. I mean, they're really easy to deal with, especially once you got some decent weapons, but they suck. A shaky sigh slips past my mouth as my frayed and exhausted nerves really start to reach their limit. What feels like the 100th time over the span of a few hours, probably. I just want to go home. I don't want to be stuck in this hellhole. Why am I even here? Is this some kind of sick divine punishment for being an asshole to the substitute? I'll be nicer, I promise. The tail wraps around me as I tighten my grip around this cold steel resting in my lap. How does it not warm up? You've been I mean, I guess you are cold-blooded. The crowbar's weight acts as the only real source of comfort, however meager it is. The last line between me and being mauled to death or turned into some freak monster. You'd think a place full of all these a place full of all these apparently smart or gung-ho humans would be able to defend from, or at least know what the hell's going on here. I mean, even a handful of government-mandated Saurians would probably make short work of some of these crab things. I like how you say that when you're a Saurian, buddy. How about you live up to your own little racisms? Actually, I would love that if that comes up at some point where she's like, I used to think Saurians were badass and could do anything, but I've started to realize it's really a more matter of experience and training. And Gordon's like, sure, buddy. I understand what you're saying. The last thought brings up something that's been a bit of a backburner for me trying not to die, but nevertheless pressing question. Why the hell are these Saurians down here? Well, for one, we're in the process of making forced contact here. Oh yeah, these are all like little flashbacks. Why'd they say all that? I muttered to myself, feeling a growing bit of worry start to mix with the curiosity of my stomach. Subconsciously, I slip a hand to my hoodie pocket and pull out my phone. Frown stretch across my snout as I look at a brand new crack dead across the middle of the screen. Probably got it when I first fell down from the zombie thing earlier. Dude, it could have been any number of things. The shiver runs up my spine as the memory plays in my head. My head shakes side to side in a desperate attempt to get the thing out of my head as fast as possible. Thumbing the button on the side, I'm relieved to see that it's basically fine besides the crack. Swiping up, I met with the last thing I was looking at. Rather, what I was showing the guard before he was killed. It's a photo of Damien and Vinny acting like total geeks in front of the living room TV. My chest clenches at the sight of my two pseudo-siblings. The idea that I never see them again festers in the back of my head, growing like a pair of drums. Pretty soon I start swiping desperately around for any photos I have, silently cursing myself for not taking more of them. There's plenty of them by all means, but it doesn't feel like there's enough. Especially ones of Inko. Inko just always sits behind that camera and never taking a picture of himself. Something stirs me as I look at those photos. Why the hell aren't there any Saurians down there? Why the hell does every person who sees me freak out? Well, it's because you look like an alien. And they're dealing with an alien problem, lady. What happened back home? Did I just vanish? Did anyone notice? Well, what if they're trying to come looking for me after all? There's no way anyone's gonna know that I'm trapped in some giant concrete and metal coffin with no idea how to get out. Not even a damn clue where I am. Oh, hey, Black Mesa's ready to play. Or even a damn clue where I am. Playing these two side by side is probably the best way to start hating Black Mesa. Because listen, my biggest problem with Black Mesa is just that it's extremely decompressed compared to Half-Life, which is this so fucking snappy. And it loses some of that 90s charm. I'm not saying it's bad, but I just don't think it can replace or even approach Half-Life. Because any effort to remake something of the past like this just doesn't work. Here we go. This is a lovely one. Half-Life is considered a masterpiece for a reason. It should be experienced under its own terms. Especially this game does make some changes I believe diminish the experience. Several sections have been artificially made longer by, for example, making you find a valve to screw in and open doors instead of just having a button do the same thing. It's more akin to Half-Life 2's map design in a sense, but it doesn't improve the experience by being that. That being said, Black Mesa is a great game worth experiencing. Just play Half-Life 1 first. It's possible to appreciate the changes CC made when developing the game without the proper context. That's what I mean. It's you know, it's the fanfic version. I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but it definitely doesn't appreciate brevity as the soul of wit. Too bad there was no amount of development time that could have made Zen levels bearable. I still think that's the weakest part, which is funny. It's funny that history rhymes like that. Screw you, George Lucas. Where were we? With no idea how to get out, or even a damn clue where I am. A metallic thud hums throughout the hall, scaring the shit out of me, causing my phone to drop in my lap. Doesn't look around the room for any sign of what just happened. Suddenly, I hear the sounds of water rushing through something that's right above me. Glancing up, I see a bright red pipe with a yellow and black label of hot water flow wrapped around. Ugh. A metallic buzzard is a pair of lights outside of the temperature control rooms once red turns green. The number beneath the lights this time reached -2 Fahrenheit. I blink, not sure what to think of the whole idea. What could have caused it? It's still like -17 Celsius, man. Or 18 by that point. Was it Gordon? My hands drift up and scratch my head in thought. I mean, there's all that stuff about warming up the room. Maybe the locked door will open if he... I flinch as the glass showers on the floor as something comes barreling through one of the window-lined walls. Carefully lowering my arm and watching horror, something slowly picks itself off the floor and shakes its entire body. The freakish thing rises up. Hey, it's one of the sound doggies! I don't know what the fuck they're called. I would love it if one of these animals just isn't hostile to Olivia, because she just doesn't register like humans do. It's just like, oh, I guess you're one of those things that I don't care about. See you later, buddy. Just scampers off. I think it's funny. I think you gotta do it, right? Because everything is already innately hostile. But it'd be funny if at least one thing doesn't actually give a shit about Olivia. Not necessarily so she can have a scene where she exploits her unique status, but just as like this reminder that all these creatures are in fact their own animals, and they're allowed to make their own decisions. And have their own worldviews. Like, I know an animalistic worldview tends to be pretty simplistic, but that means you can play with it in a different kind of way. A freakish thing slowly rises off the floor. It has 3 legs, 1 in the rear and 2 up front. It's covered in pale and sickly yellow skin that seems to hang loose, almost like it's too big for its body. Not wanting to take a chance, I quickly scurry back as far into the corner as I can, hoping it's not going to be able to spot me from the crate. I know I need to make myself small, but I can't stop staring at it. In the original game, you see a dog at the far end of the corridor, and then one teleports in. It's really weird. Like, it's like it's trying to introduce you to the same creature twice. My stomach turns as I take in the worst part, its head. It doesn't have one. There's no mouth or snout, just a giant wet cluster of black orbs sunken into its chest, wrapped by flashy rings that puckers and retracts. Whoop. More like that. I blink in surprise as the creature trips, sounding almost cute, but still completely alien. It spins around, allowing me a better view of the blue stripes running down its back. They pulse and glow, almost like blue veins. Its eyes twist and move as it awkwardly hops, the high-pitched chirp coming out of it. It's almost an inquisitive bark that hums in my direction. My blood freezes as many eyes land directly on me. Oh fuck, oh fuck! I would love it if she makes a friend. Is she gonna make a fucking friend? I'm sorry. We're following up on my idea? Hold up, author. Hold up. You need to tell me how the fuck you can hear my thoughts. I need you to stop. Tell me about this. It lets out a sharp electric bark as it too eagerly hops over to me. I press myself as far into the corner as I can, wrapping my tills, panic begins to fill my veins. What the hell do I do? I don't know what this thing is. It's... Oh, because you're also 3-legged, because your legs don't work. You got a tail. I'm just saying, Olivia. You two are very alike. I say, pushing them close together. No kiss. What the hell do? I don't know what this thing is. It stops at the foot of the crate, looking up at me with many bulbous and reflective eyes. In Black Mesa, these things look really fucking weird, and you can, like, blast out their eyeballs, and it looks really fucking weird, man. I much prefer the original, where there's a bit more, like, room for interpretation. It's out a soft musical warble, tilting its body like that of a curious animal. For a split second, my panic begins to fade, as it seems to study me more than want to outright kill me. I mean, admittedly, if you're gonna make a friends with anything, I feel like the little Sonic dogs are by far a better choice than, like, the majority of other creatures in the game. I mean, a bull squid would be cute. A bull squid would be so cute. She could sit on its back. They could be flat fucks together. Okay, I stammer, looking around, still not exactly sure what to do. Maybe it's friendly? It's like one of those big bug pits that people own. They immediately want to kill me. Actually, it's sort of kind of cute. I carefully nudge ever close to the edge of the crate, being all too mindful of what it can do. Nice, weird alien thing? Now, I'm not sure what started to come over me. Just the cute noises the creature was making, or they seemed like one of the few things that didn't want to kill me, but I want to pet it. Everyone wants to pet these little boys. I forgot what their name is, though. Hold up. Let's go for the Half-Life wiki. Hold up. I need to find the Half-Life wiki. I need to remind myself what these little bugaboos are called. Enemies. Hound Eye. Oh, they're called Hound Eyes. Of course they are. I really like their design. It's very, very different. Oh, shit. The damage and color of the Hound Eyes depend on the number of units in a squad. Squad members lose the ability to charge a shockwave attack reverse their base attack if the leader is killed. Oh, the color changes and the damage changes. By 15. Oh, that's pretty fucking cool. I've never seen that happen. Like, whenever I fight these things, it just never really comes up. The eyelid is kind of fucking fucked up, man. Oh, they don't include, I guess they don't consider Black Mesa. I guess because it's not made by Valve. I mean, fair enough. I'm entirely on board with that, but... Oh, no! My tab crashed. Who cares? Not sure what's about to come over me. I want to pet it. I slowly start to outstretch an arm towards the top of its... I mean, let me make one thing clear. Even if, like, a wild animal is near you, don't just start to pet it. Because it will generally interpret that as an attack or something. Like, take it slow. Maintain eye contact. Don't waver. Because if you look around, it'll think you're prey. Like, just kind of be there. And don't respond like a prey would. And don't respond like a predator either. Just kind of be there, and animals get really fucking confused. They're like, what the fuck is happening? Who is this guy? Who is this sassy lost child? It suddenly leaps backwards with a loud bark, scaring the shit out of me. No, it's cool, it's cool. Be cool. I'm not trying to hurt. The thing leaps forward. A high, piercing noise starting to rapidly get louder as the blue stripes of back glow brighter and brighter. The high-pitched harmonic whine begins to drill into my skull. All the air around starts to vibrate, with a sound like a turbine spinning at max speed, growing louder and sharper until it feels like it's piercing my skull. A lot of things do that, except bullets. I just put the cover of my ear trying to force out the high noise. It's not just sound; it's inside my head. Dude, this does 15 damage. Do you have that many hit points, Olivia? I mean, you got a lot of meat, but that doesn't necessarily translate to hit points. The whine keeps climbing higher and higher, vibrating through the soles of my shoes and everything. How the fuck could you feel what's going on in the soles of your shoes, Olivia? Aren't you literally paralyzed from the knee down? I guess you still feel something. I was under the impression that you just, paralysis, not just muscle loss. Kaboom! It's not just a noise, it's a physical blow. Shut up, ChatGPT. The shockwave hits me in the chest like a sledgehammer. But the worst part is that why this writing feels so... Did you do this with AI? I'll be so mad if you did. I think AI is a bit more focused than this, though, and also doesn't make weird mistakes like this. My vision blurs. Not because of tears. Actually, considering this is kind of old, it might be using an older model. That's shit. My vision blurs, not because of the tears, but because of the fluid inside my eyeballs actually vibrating. Oh, that's fucking... Oh! My teeth rattle in my gums, aching right down to the roots. And for a terrifying second, I feel my lungs fluttering out of sync. I feel the big problem is your heart goes out of sync. It feels like my brain is being scrambled from the inside of my skull, shaking loose from its moorings. Oh, that's gonna hurt. I collapse back, my equilibrium totally shot. The world spinning in a nauseating vortex of blue light and ringing silence. Without the pain, I wrap my head around the skull steel laying in my lap, start blindly flailing it around. It's all I can think about. In desperate need to stop the noise. I quickly lose track of how long or fast I'm swinging the crowbar. Pain overwhelms practically all other senses, other than a primal urge to survive. Suddenly, the pressure wave comes to a heaving halt. The pain doesn't just stand up and walk away. I guess for a few more seconds, and the ringing in my ears fades. My eyes slowly showed up, only to briefly close. The light in the room seemed way too bright for any sane being. After probably a million blinks, I look around. This provides with the weird monster is gone. I feel like I blink in confusion as a green bloody body and crowbar lay on the floor where it had been. Looking down, I confirmed the tool's not in my hands. I feel like it'd be kind of funny because she's deaf that she didn't hear someone shooting the thing. How? But what? A sickening crack mingles with the sound of metallic impact in the direction of the maintenance shaft. Raising my eyes, I trace a streak of green leading over its way. So my brain puts two and two together. Then it hits, or rather, the crowbar hit it. What? Dun, 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 dun. The metallic walkway above me clatters with the sound of rapid footfalls drawing closer. I gape up, expecting the next horrifying monster to pop over and let me have it. Instead, a familiar bespectacled face comes over the railing. So did you hit it or not? It's a little bit weird. Did you drop it? What happened? Maybe she hid it in confusion. I don't know. This is very unclear writing for someone who's this redundant. Gordon! I half yell, relieved to see the human again, not processing how he got up there. He looks down at me with a surprisingly strong look of worry. Both of his gloved hands wave out at me, just as trying to communicate something. I'm good. The words feel hollow, yet true. Some weird thing just jumped out of nowhere, but my eyes drift over to the blade crowbar. For a brief second, I debate what to say. I think it's dead. Human lets out a sigh of relief, running a hand through his hair. Is it safe out there? Who are you talking to? An unfamiliar nasally voice echoes out from up above, getting a curious look out at me. Much like Gordon, a balding human scientist looks down over the railing at me. My goodness! He shouts, quickly disappearing over the railing. There's a horrible green thing! There's a horrible green thing down there! Oh wow, okay, what an asshole. Fucking speciesist. I appreciate that despite the fact that you're falling apart, comedy still like your fallback option. I furrow my brow in the human's ballpark direction, debating whether I should even give the guy the time of day. Honestly, with how everything has been, I'm pretty done being nice. Give the guy an avian-themed gesture. The bird. Ah! Does it understand me? If I could give the guy any more stink eye, I would. Gordon squeezes the bridge of his nose, eyes squeezed shut, as if fighting off a migraine. He stands there for a beat, completely motionless, rating the aura if I do not have a PhD for this. He drops his hand and fixes the scientist with a withering, deadpan stare through his dirty lenses, pulling back. Listen. I'm not saying that Olivia couldn't defeat a hound's eye. They're relatively flimsy creatures, if I recall correctly. Like, you can just bum rush them, I think. Not that I would. You get a pistol by that point. You can definitely just go shooting. At least in a base game. But it just feels kind of weird to have Olivia have this. I mean, I get it. She's never going to be an action star or anything, especially if you don't give her a gun. But actually, you could just give her the 9mm and stuff it in her hoodie pocket once Gordon gets the shotgun. He drops axe. Okay. Pulling back, he makes his way over to where I guess the other human is. There's a few hushed, one-sided conversations before the man's head peeks over again with Gordon's. Should be possessive there. Are you... You can actually talk? Uh-huh. Duh. My deadpan, getting another wide-eyed look from the god. The god? Not really feeling in the mood to go through this whole poking and prodding business again, I could tell. Look, I'm not here to kill you. I'm just trying to get to the surface like the rest of you guys. Ah! It talks! The scientist yelps. Instead of shrinking back, he silently stares, cupping hat of shit. Your ability to speak, it's most interesting. The scientist starts, apparently oblivious to the many facial and body cues that I'm not happy with how he's handling this. What are you, then? It's that question again. It's a damn fucking question! Why does everyone keep asking me that? I'm a Saurian and a baryonyx! My sudden shouting startles a man with a meek eep. Hasn't anyone ever actually seen one? I'm afraid not, unless you're referring to clawed dinosauria, but those are all extinct. I feel like I love that we're going here because I didn't even consider the possibility of going like, yeah, Olivia, you're fucking extinct. How's that? Actually, that'd be a great way to handle Goodbye Volcano High characters, is to go, no, you're extinct. Like, you existed, and we found proof of you, but you're dead. All of them. Oh, that's such a shit fucking thing. What? Boop, boop. Warning. No, this one's like, warning. Unauthorized biological signatures in Sector D. This voice sucks ass. All of us look towards the ceiling, the metallic voice announcing something no doubt either of us were excited to hear. Blast! That's this sector, he said, snaps to Gordon. Quickly! You must find the last flow valve and over the temperature blast door. I may still have access to the local security station if the network is functioning. Yeah, this is something that happens in Black Mesa. Otherwise, I think you just find a guy and he just opens the door for you. Gordon looks down at me, seemingly making sure I'm okay with him leaving again. Also, the guy that with the other guy like survives with the stairs. So yeah, I definitely think this is because the reason that works the way in Half-Life, it's kind of weird because the guy doesn't really go anywhere with you, and you find the other guy upstairs because they can't climb ladders. I only give a limp nod. Despite the scientist's urgent words, my brain is too far gone to be thinking on the specifics. Even with the blatant worry that more things are heading this way, the human's word ring in my head. What the fuck did he mean by extinct? I do find it lovely that this guy is familiar with clawed dinosauria. That's gold. Warm embraces me like a mother her child. What fucking mother hugs their child that coldly, wrapping and swaddling as we exit the giant walk-in freezer filled with massive containment cylinders. Even with the minute or two that we had to traverse an ice and snow-covered room, it felt like 2 minutes too much. I mean, you're not built for any of those. Once Gordon and the scientist had left, I was once more on my own. Thankfully, it wasn't for too long and nothing else happened. No monsters, no deadly hazards, just me, myself, and my brain. A brain that was left reeling at only the only vocal human's words, or rather, word. Extinct. What the fuck did he mean by extinct? Saurians aren't extinct, far from it. But that's not what he was talking about, right? Surely he must be mistaken. I feel like at this point, Olivia, you really should start to become comfortable with the idea you might be in an alternative dimension. I feel like it's taking her way too long to pick up on this. You watch anime, Olivia! You should be more familiar with genres. Like, I know you're not Anon, but like, Inko would be that stupid. Inko would be that stupid. But not Olivia. Like, she watches too much shit. Although maybe her interests are not such. It didn't take long for Gordon to thankfully return. For some reason, I shifted to Commissioner Gordon in my mind. Apparently, he found a way to open the locked door through the freezer thingy. My guess is that it had to do with the pipes are drunk. Who knows? I was too busy thinking about how my brain almost got scrambled by a monster, and how some guy casually dropped about my species being extinct. Yeah, that tends to scramble you. Even as the two of us warm up from a brief run through the freezer, a cold pit remains firmly lodged in my stomach. Everything's strange reactions seem more and more worrying every time I talk to someone. The computers, the humans' reactions. Why the computers? What is it? Oh. I'm jerked around as Gordon spins 180 degrees towards the hallway behind us. There, wiggling inside of a bit of sticky rope, one of those grab things. It's caught in a ceiling trap. Once I tried to jump our way while we were distracted and got snatched up. This was a pretty good reminder that the two of us, that there are still plenty of dangers around us. For some reason, at least I think I got that from Gordon's gestures. The other scientist decided to stay back. No idea what the guy was insisting on. He was just there to open a loot box, to open a little cubbyhole full of good treasures, prizes, as I call them. While the wall trap is distracted, Gordon hurriedly walks around it. The wall trap? Batting his gaze alongside mine, upwards every once in a while. I mean, you can see the cables hanging. It's not a surprise hunter. It just kind of waits. Once we're clear, we could tear down the narrow hallway. So, where do you think we're going at this moment? I asked, trying to busy my brain with something other than the idea of extinction. Like, is there some kind of weird side door that we're going to get through? Gordon pauses, the muscles on his face twitching and jerking as the human thinks. One thing I know so far is that while he doesn't speak, his face does most of the talking for him. There's something about how something even as meager as a twitch on his cheek can mean something important. I guess it's just the way that he makes up for his silence. Eventually, the human shrugs, placing his hands together and sinking them around before pointing up. No idea, just gotta keep moving till we reach the surface. I guess you could say. Just as we round the corner in the hallway, a familiar gurgling scream echoes down. It's the sound of raw terror, but before I can process it, the sight of a flaming barrel rapidly fills my vision. I'm thrown around in the harness as Gordon jumps to the side. He slams into the metallic walls where he had been, leaving a massive dent. Its fires still rage, seeming to spread along the length of the barrel. Flames engulf its silver skin, leaving only a little bit uncovered. A bit that reads flammable. Gordon! I scream, pointing towards the label. The human sees what I see, turning around and trying to... The last thing I remember is something slamming into my back. Oh shit. I will say, I feel like worse writers would kind of struggle with something that I think is important. So one thing that I really like about this is that it definitely sets up things as it goes along. Like, Olivia's fear for her life and, like, exposure to death is getting replaced with, I am willing to fight to protect myself a little more aggressively. And also extinction. Like, we're moving on. We're having different topics of discussion, although I don't know how we're going to handle that extinction concept. Apparently, we are going to address extinction. Oh, we're actually from Gordon's perspective when we talk about them. I think you're in another universe. Ugh, Gordon, you're way too fucking comfortable with the concept of universes. Gordon, you can't just tell me I'm in another universe! Sadly, a degree in theoretical physics can't prepare you for a dinosaur teenage from another universe asking you why our ancestors are gone. Oh my god. I appreciate how very, very flimsy the writing is to some extent. There's this definite sense of, like, these are just two fucking goobers trying to make the best of a situation they can't actually handle. Anyway, I gotta go play Black Mesa. I thought Wani Escape Black Mesa was phrased like that because, you know, it's the facility Black Mesa. But no, they might actually be meaning Black Mesa the game. Because, like I mentioned, the... God. All the cool science team. Heku's... Heku Cooks. What are those guys again? Whatever. I like this one! Though. I like this one. It's very inspiring. It's something else. It's something different. Something slick. Something smooth. Reminds me of why I liked writing my little spooky things. Those who don't know, the zombie of Volcano High and the Ranger in the Fog, I think are the ones I'm thinking of. Or no, the zombies of Volcano got something else, right? What is that story? It's only a year old and I already forgotten. Might be anything, man. Oh god, I hate this. It's only a year old and I'm already mad. Oh. Oh shit, no, I remember this. This was like him going to Volcano High, right? Wait, I already did this? Hold up, I need to... Hold up. I know now is not the time, but we're like an hour and 6 minutes in. You might as well get a little bonus. Oh, an asteroid fell in this town. What the hell's the ending to this? What the hell did I write? I don't... I feel like this is an idea I had, but I never actually finished writing it, and I'm extremely confused. Holy shit, how do I end up with this? How... This wasn't me. Who the fuck wrote this? When? Was I actually writing last year in June? I'm very confused. Could I even find this if I tried to look for it? Hold up. We need to find this fucking file, man. Time to dive into my Google Drive. I should be able to just look for some of the text that I have, and it should be able to... Yeah, no, this doesn't work. Shit. No, it's not going to be in a fucking CMF. And it's not going to be in Just Ship, because that's too recent. Holy shit. I don't remember writing this! When did this happen? How am I losing my shit over this? Oh my god. I don't fucking remember this. Wait, wait. Isn't this idea where they all show up there? What happens to Fang's parents? Wait! Wait. Does Ripley ever come up? Hold up. Okay, wait. Slowly things are coming back to my head. This is where they wake up on the beach, right? And they just don't talk about it at first? That's what they call this. Oh, fuck, that's coming back. You think my memory would be better than this, but it really isn't. I'm just very good at lying and pretending. Anyway, back on topic. Back on topic. God, did I feel like I never finished this. I feel like I never finished this. When did I fucking finish this? Homestead, Safi. Homestead. So confused. I feel like again. This again, it feels like an idea that I had, that I was going to work on, that I was going to implement, and never fucking did. Man, I need to actually write something before I lose my damn mind. But it's too hot. I'm sorry to tell you. Oh, they've vacated the bench outside because it's too hot. And they're in the middle of the sun if they sit there. Huh. Dude, I forgot what the. I wish I had any fucking clue what the hell I wrote. Yeah, okay. I know why I don't remember this because I'm kind of mad. Okay. See you guys later for Black Mesa. What is the next chapter? The canals. Apparently, it's gonna focus a little bit on some personal problems, which is fine. Also, they're gonna put the little health machine, the little beep 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 beep, which is fine. I like the health machine. I love the little especially in the. I think a Black Mesa has like the little pump so you can see it. It's pretty cool. Bye bye.